Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Straightforward Farming Podcast. I'm your host, Tony Reed, alongside Nick McCormick. Nick, what's new with you this week?
Oh, nothing. Just recovering from Bowling Green, trying to get stuff done, get ready for harvest.
Yeah, how'd Bowling Green go? I don't guess we ain't done a podcast since then, have we? We done one before?
No. Went well.
Good.
Another year passed, another year of fun.
Yep.
It's good to see everybody. It's the first play I've been to all year.
And you actually went down the track, right?
I did.
Yep.
I did. Not far enough, but yeah, I did.
So got to drive somebody else's tractor. So probably nice to be back in the seat once.
Yeah. It's always nice to look out. That Bowling Green crowd is something of its own, and it's always nice a little bit mesmerizing when you look out across it. So yeah, it was nice to be back in the saddle, I guess. Yeah.
Every year I say I'm going to go to that, and I've still never took time. And this summer was actually probably one of the busier summers I've had for
fastest summer ever.
Oh, it's terrible. And then of course, I got that 40-10, and I was hell bent on getting that son of a bitch done before fall. I didn't want to drag this thing out, have the shop tied up half the fall, just get on it and get it done. So yeah, it didn't screw my summer up, but that's where the bulk of my summer went.
Yeah.
And then by the time Bowling Green rolled around, I got to get the combine out, start getting stuff ready for harvest. So
no, I hear you. This summer slipped by super fast. Like I was not ready for kids to go back to school. I a lot more stuff I really wanted to get done, but didn't get it done. Yeah,
it truly was one of the fastest summers I can remember, even as far as for the kids, forever. And of course, we didn't take a vacation this summer.
I'm assuming part of it was, the last couple have been COVID summers.
Right.
So there wasn't as much going on. Now we're kind of back in the...
Yeah, they kind of drug on because you were...
in the normal groove, so to speak. And
kind of bored in a sense.
And you're ramped back up and it moved fast, I suppose.
Yeah, so I seen today they released the numbers from the Pro Farmer Crop Tour. Did you happen to see the results of that?
I did not see them. No.
And don't quote me on this because I'd have to go back and look at my phone, but they come in with a final national yield of either 168 or 169 and some change, either 168.4 or 169, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So substantially lower than USDA, which I'm going to say they're probably right on the money. I don't think this crop's as big as...
I don't think it's out there.
I don't either.
No. I mean, even the places where it's good, I don't think it's going to be as good as last year.
Right. Same here. Yeah. We're not going to have no record here. We're going to have really good crops, but no record.
Yeah.
So
we had enough early stress and troubles, this, that, and the other. Like, we've had a fairly wet summer.
Right.
But it's not going to be, it's going to be good, but it's not going to be like earth-shatteringly good.
And the spots that normally carry the state of Illinois, they're actually hurting.
Yes.
They were pulling 150 bushel yields out of them areas. And that's a crop failure to them guys.
190 is bad for them.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say they're pretty close on their numbers. I wouldn't argue with that. So,
yeah.
So, the markets are starting to take off. I'm sure fertilizer, I'm hearing, Europe has now suspended all anhydrous ammonia production because they basically know Putin's going to freeze them out this winter. So they're saving the natural gas to heat their homes and not make anhydrous. So It sounds like any end products are going up substantially.
Yeah, I heard today that you're going to get shut off on anhydrous. You had to pay for it today is what a buddy of mine was telling me. And
yep, that's exactly what I heard from my supplier. So 100% pay now, $11.35 a ton. 25% now. Their balance due in January is $11.55 a ton. After that, no prices. We're not committing to nothing.
Good times.
Tells me corn could be $18 a bushel next year if nobody can get any end to put on it.
Yeah, no doubt.
So my current plan is to put every ounce of everything I can on this fall. Anhydrous fertilizer, all of it. I want it in my possession.
Same thing I did last year.
Yep. Yeah, which I normally do all that anyway.
Yeah.
But this ain't going to be one of them years to save back 100 acres to compare or whatever. So
no. Put it down and move forward.
Yep. Yeah. It's either that or take prevent plant next year.
Yeah. Think a liberal. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Because I'm damn sure not going all soybeans.
No.
I
love soybeans, but I'm not going 100%.
Yeah, I guess never say never, but that's for damn sure not what I want to do.
No, absolutely not.
So, I don't know. This whole deal in Russia, Ukraine, it's a mess, and it's got shit all out of whack. Did you see where California is banning the sale of gasoline-powered cars by the year 2035 completely?
I heard that. When will the manufacturers just ban the sale of anything to California?
Yeah, I agree.
I'm telling you, and we've covered this before, I would build a wall on the Nevada border And I wouldn't sell shit to those people.
I wouldn't either.
I'd starve them out.
I do
You guys
just like
want
you
to do
said.
dumb shit? Just like the other day, I told you how many millions of dollars have been wasted printing that stupid Prop 65 warning on literally everything you buy.
Yeah.
I could give two shits if the lights are on in California. I don't care if they eat. I don't care if they have cars to drive. Let them sit there with their rickshaws and their freaking soy latte, whatever bullshit they're drinking, and run up and down the coast. I don't care.
Yeah, I agree. We just need big warehouses in Nevada.
Yeah.
We're dropping the shit here. You guys figure out how to get the rest of the way across the state because we're done. Not bringing our gasoline-powered vehicles or diesel into your state.
No, we don't want to pollute it. You guys are doing plenty enough. I mean, you've seen San Francisco. It's looking great these days. You know, there's no needles and trash and defecation right all across the streets. Now they're doing a great job keeping it clean.
I seen a TikTok the other day, and it was kind of fascinating. And it was a guy that was basically, bashing climate change, which I'm 100% on board with. Mm-hmm. And I never thought about this till he said it. Have you ever, so we all, like when we were kids growing up, smog was the big word, right?
Oh, yeah.
And there was always a picture of LA, right? 20 lanes of traffic and smog.
Yeah.
He said, did you ever hear Chicago bitch about smog? New York City? All these other cities with millions and millions of people? Never heard about smog. And basically he was making the correlation of, as Sam Kinison would say, you live in a fucking desert. So it wasn't smog. It was about like when we get haze around here of a morning when it's real hot and humid in the summer. It was the same fucking thing. And they're just sitting there calling it that, it's this pollution, it's smog and everything else. Like, it didn't have shit to do with any of it.
Yeah.
It's where you live. Because Chicago, I think, is, 8 or 9 million people or something like that. I mean, the whole state of Illinois is like 12, and most of them are there. But I've never once heard smog mentioned in Chicago.
No.
New York City. Anywhere else, it was always Los Angeles.
It's not smoggy enough they can't see to shoot in Chicago.
Right, exactly.
So they still got a clear shot, so they're good.
And now they're running out of water. They're acting like, it's crisis lockdown mode. Once again, it's
they live in a desert.
You live in a desert.
Yeah, you don't live where the food is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a mess. Like I said, Amazon delivery would stop at the border.
Yep.
You can pick her up here, find a way back to your house. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. And I mean, there's a lot of farmers that are going to get screwed big time by this water deal because now they're making mandatory cuts.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the answer is. I mean, I truly don't. But, man, you're going to cripple a lot of people very rapidly here. And it's a matter of time. They're just dying to shut irrigation off in Nebraska and everywhere else with the Ogallala Aquifer. I mean, it's coming. I mean, not saying it'll be next year, but they're just dying to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a shit show, as usual. The people in charge are, unfortunately, not that bright. So,
yeah, that I would agree with.
It's not going to get it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know how you fix it. I don't know how you right the ship, but something's got to change.
Well, I got a couple ideas, but I probably shouldn't put them out there.
Yeah, same here. Yep.
Yeah, so probably solve a few of them pretty quick. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah, exactly. Don't want to dwell. Bring everybody down.
Yeah, yeah. You're not here to be getting bad news.
Yeah.
You're here to. Well, we're not sure why you're here, but we're glad you're here.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting close to 1 million downloads in this podcast. In fact, we may be over 1 million. Like, for those of you that don't know, Nick and I literally sit around, drink beer, shoot the shit, and record it, and let you guys listen to it. I don't give two shits about stats. We have no sponsors. Hint, hint, if anybody wants to sponsor. No, I'm just kidding. But, we don't care about any of that. We're just having fun, drinking beer, and that's it. But yeah, we're getting really close to 1 million downloads, and we will have been on the air for 2 years this coming January. Yeah. So overall, I feel like that's all right for literally just screwing off. Yeah. So thanks to all the listeners for that.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
And another good podcast, we've mentioned this numerous times, is the Bushels and Barrels podcast. Yeah. Ryan and Jess do a fantastic job. If you're into the current political state, a lot of us think alike that are listening to this podcast, or if you're a part of this. So if you want to hear more of the political side, or I'm not going to say mainstream talking points, but they cover a little more current events, I guess you would say. But very good podcast, so go check that out, Bushels and Barrels. You can find it on any platform.
Yeah, but we're not PC enough to probably pull that off.
No, we're not.
But if you'd like to talk to us one-on-one and get our political beliefs, be happy to tell you.
Yeah.
But
Yep. We had big plans for this summer. We was going to take call-ins and everything else.
We were going to do lots of stuff. We didn't do any of it.
Yeah, exactly. We're just like any other typical American. We're going to promise you the world and then deliver on none of it. But that's all right.
Man, we're working towards our way to be politicians.
Yeah. Exactly. But I think it would be cool, though, in Louisville or somewhere at the farm show, if you could somehow, I'm not saying rent your own booth, but talk to, and I'm just using this as an example, J&M Grain or whoever, hey, can we have literally a 5-foot corner of your booth? We'll get people over here. Let people sit down for 5 minutes. We could have done it
at Bowling Green at the campground.
Well, this is
there
true.
Have been plenty of people who would have gladly given us space.
I don't know, would that content have been able to have been aired, by 10 o'clock at night?
Well,
or
if we shot it during the day, it'd have been fine.
We should have looked into that maybe.
Yeah. There was a ton of TikTokers out there that I recognized, get to hang out with. It was a good time. A ton of people come up and mentioned the podcast, talked about it, so on and so forth. And some of it was later in the evening, like I didn't get to really meet them, but they, slapped me on the back, hey, like it, whatever, et cetera, which was nice. It was cool. It's a good time.
Yeah. I have been humbled by how many people listen to this podcast. Yeah. When we started this, I'm like, hey, if we get a couple, 200-300 people a week, hell, that'd be fine.
Yeah,
whatever.
That'd be good. Yeah.
But and just for those of you listening, hell, I'll throw it out there. I don't care. We get on average per episode. Now, I'm not saying per week. I'm saying per episode. And so generally, you guys know through the winter, we try to release one once a week. Now, this time of year with sports and kids, it just don't happen. There just ain't enough hours in the day. But if we're dropping one podcast a week, it's pretty consistent, 8,000 to 10,000 downloads per episode.
Yeah.
And that's pretty wild to me.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Considering my wife and kids don't listen to me at all.
Yeah, exactly.
At any level. I'm not counting the podcast. I'm just talking about it in general. For 8,000 other people to tune in and say, hey, what's he saying? And I'm pretty tickled by that. Yeah. I mean, they're probably not still actually listening, but not doing what I say because Lord knows nobody does.
Yeah. I think people like the senseless noise that we provide while they drive up and down the road. They don't have to be in deep thought where they're veering off the road, driving over pedestrians.
My high-pitched voice has a nice tone to their ear, I think.
For sure.
Yeah. But,
So, I don't know. It's been quite the summer, but we're going to try to get back on these podcasts.
Yeah, we'll try to be better.
Coming up this winter. I mean, it was just so busy this summer. There just simply was not enough hours in the day.
Wasn't enough time
to get it all done. So, you guys are just too goddamn demanding is what it amounts to. You just got to be patient with us.
Yeah, no doubt. Tony and I are not professionals, but we're trying hard.
Yeah.
We'll get it out there eventually for you.
That's right. I just love the fact how we can whip the shit out of our listeners, and they just keep coming back for more.
Everybody likes an insult.
Yeah, that's right. Here in the old podcast room. So for those of you that follow me on TikTok, I've got all these shirts scattered all around the room here. And here a while back, we was going out on a friend's boat. I needed a shirt to cut the sleeves off of. I didn't want to cut any of my good ones, so I just come down here to the podcast room and just started cutting sleeves off of shirts. So the walls are a little bit bare on the one side, but I've got a whole pile of shirts sitting here again to put back up and replace it. So I need to put back up the fall attire.
Fall remodel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So have to get that going. But
yeah, no doubt.
So I don't know. What else is new? Nothing?
Nothing too exciting. Like I said, getting stuff ready for fall. Like I said, just got back from Bowling Green. It was a great time. Thanks to all the people that come up and said hey, and the hospitality. Ran into Denny and Liv, COVID-19 and Liv Lux. Great time with them. Red Power Stew, Curtis Big W, Ginger Nurse, Snow Rider. All those guys treated me like a king, way better than I deserve. Can't complain about that at all. Had a great time with those guys. Ran to several other people. Just had a good time. It was good to see the Pullen family again.
Yeah.
That's the first pull I've been to all year since I'm allegedly retired.
Yeah.
And so it was good to see all my Pullen friends or whatever, plus all the TikTok podcast crowd. So that was good. Otherwise, just trying to keep up with the family and so on and so forth. And we're in the process of building a new toolbar for our air seeder and getting everything ready for fall and doing some work on the draper. And it's time to get the combine out. And
I forgot you went to a draper this fall.
Yeah.
This will be your first fall with it, right?
First fall.
Yeah, you're going to love that.
Yeah, it should be fine. Hopefully. Yep. I sold my auger head today, so it better be good.
Yep, you'll like it. I'd never go back to an auger head unless times were tough and I couldn't afford it. But yeah, they're nice, very nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So.
And you stayed with a Case IH. You're not a Mac.
I have a Case IH one.
Okay.
Only by sheer dumb luck. Like, I don't want to tell you the story, but long story short, I was trying to buy a MacDon, and a buddy of mine was using it. It was his MacDon. It was on his second combine, and never would give me a number. Told me a range, but never would give me a number because they weren't done with it yet. I'm like, I don't need it. I'm done. Mm-hmm. Like, just tell me what you want for it. You can finish up. Like, I don't care. Unless you run it into a tree, like, I don't give a shit. So kind of went back and forth there, and he never could come up with a number. And literally, when he texted me the number, I called my brother. And he's like, I actually just wrote the check and handed it to the guy for Case IH1. And it's fine. It'll be fine. Ryan's got the same one. Bushels and Barrels got the same, only the yellow version. So it's probably not as good because it's yellow.
Yeah.
But it'll be fine. It'll be better than what I had. I have no complaints about my auger head. It was just too small.
Yeah.
There's no reason to run a big combine with a small head.
So. Are you 30 or 35?
35.
35, okay. We've got a 35-foot deer ordered, but it won't be until after harvest. So we're 30 foot now.
Yeah.
But
so we're going from 25 to 35.
Oh, so shit, yeah.
Theoretically, I can be done in 2 days.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen, but that's my goal. So, yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. My brother's been doing quite a bit of work on it and whatnot. I've been kind of abandoning him on that deal. Hopefully he's getting it all done right. I've been so busy at that time.
Yeah, that's more his style anyway. Let him do all that.
Well, he can tinker with it at his house when he wants to, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to go out there tomorrow and supervise it and make sure it's going okay. But, yeah.
At least that way, a month from now, you can say we done this and we done that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. I don't want to take all the credit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So looking forward to that. I don't know. Need to get some other stuff done. Realize that this needs that repaired, and I kind of forgot about it. So I got some other stuff to do that needs to be done. But
yeah, I'm trying to think since the last time we've been on here if there's been any big news in the ag world machinery wise. I don't think.
I don't think so. I
don't think so. I know we were talking earlier. For those of you that attend the Louisville Farm Show in February, this year, last year there was a big get together. I don't know how that was handled. I was basically told be here on these days. Yeah. I mean, I didn't have anything to do with setting it up. Don't really know how it all worked, but nonetheless, this year we're talking about getting hotels there in Louisville, and it's just going to be a blanket order of, hey, we're going to be at this bar, whatever night.
Yeah.
If you want to swing by and see us, that's where we'll be. Open to anybody, everybody, and go that route. You hate to throw different shit out on TikTok as far as some people don't see that stuff. They're only on there once every 4 or 5 days. Well, then that video kind of got buried. They missed it. It's like, well, shit, I didn't know anything about it. So I think it's easier to just kind of put the word out that, hey, that's where we're going to be. There's no set time. We're just going to be there. If you want to swing by for a beer, go for it.
It's been my first farm show without a tractor since 99 probably. So,
really?
Yeah.
Yep.
So should be fun.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. It's got to be a little bit of a relief. At least if you want to go to the show and piss around a little bit, you can. I mean, you're not kind of married to that thing in a sense, It'll be
fine. Yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, last year was the first time I'd been to the farm show in years. Had a great time. Phenomenal. Yeah. I loved it. So
yeah. It's a heck of a show.
Yeah, sure. It is. It's really something. Yeah. Which I seen, I think it was Mark Thomas had a TikTok, the Kentucky State Fair's going on. Of course, a lot of that shit was inside the same buildings we were in at Louisville,
Yeah.
And I always forget about that being the fairgrounds,
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess, how do they do that at their state fair? Have you ever been to the Kentucky State Fair?
I mean, not.
Is the whole thing indoors like that, I wonder?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, if you're from Kentucky, been to the Kentucky State Fair, let us know.
Let us know. I don't know. We got a local guy here that goes every year, but I've never asked him.
Which, hell, I'd kind of be all about that, a state fair and the air conditioning.
Yeah, that would be all bad. Yeah. Yeah, as opposed to Illinois where our state fair sucks.
Yeah, they canceled virtually everything because we ain't got no money.
Yeah, well, we need to remodel this and do that. Oh, the shit that's been broke for 10 years, now you're going to finally fix it. But the DeQuoin State Fair is Tuesday.
Yeah.
The 618 State Fair.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, Illinois has two completely separate state fairs. You got one in Springfield, the state capital, and one in DuQuoin, which is way down south.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if any other states have two state fairs or not, but Illinois,
not that badass, but we are.
Yeah, Illinois has had two for ever. I don't know when the DuQuoin started.
I can remember. My parents talk about going to DuQuoin to the state fair.
Yeah,
before I was born.
I remember my mom and dad took us. God, I couldn't have been 8, 9 years. About all I remember of the whole thing was walking by the grandstand, and just seeing the big grandstand there. But other than that, I don't really remember any of it. So
yeah, I was there a couple years ago.
So yeah, we are so financially sound in the state of Illinois that we have 2 state fairs.
Yeah,
beat that.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it, mister. Yeah, we're that badass. Well, basically, long story short, ain't nobody from Des Moines driving to Chicago,
right?
Or they probably ain't driving to Springfield,
right?
So we're just gonna have this one and call it a day. Yeah, it's a great spot. It's a nice setup. The Des Moines State Fair is actually a really nice deal.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's a nice setup.
Well, I remember back when we was kids, they always had the Street Machine Nationals. A lot of shit went on in Des Moines.
Last year for that, I was at the last one of those.
It kind of got out of hand, didn't it? I mean, to some degree. I mean, a lot of.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. The last year would have been about 94 or 5.
Has it been that long? That's probably right.
94 to 96, I'm going to tell you. I don't know for sure. It's right in there. And the only reason I can tell you that is I went down and a buddy of my brother's, and I was friends with him too, obviously, a 94 Ford Thunderbird. He hadn't had it very long.
Yep.
He bought it new because I went with my brother and his friends, and they all started piling in, and I held to the back because I'm the young guy of the group, so I'll just, hang out. Well, they all dove in, and I ended up in the front seat.
Ah, nice.
So we get about 2/3 of the way down there, like, how'd you end up in the front seat? I'm like, all you dipshits hopped in the back. I don't know. I was the last one to get in. I did not get to ride in the front seat on the way home.
Got vetoed.
Yeah, I got kicked out, which is fine. But 5 people on a 94 Ford Thunderbird was plenty.
Yeah, that'd be enough.
It was enough.
I'm trying to think, where exactly is Des Moines? I mean, is
straight south on 57 and a little bit west.
Really?
You get off at, I can't even tell you now, a little bit south of Centralia and head west, I don't know, 10 miles.
Really? Yeah.
It's very easy to get. The fairgrounds is super easy to get to.
It's just been too long. And I guess it's one of them, the interstates that we travel, you never see signs for Des Moines. It's kind of off in one of them areas that never says Des Moines next exit.
No. I'm trying to think. It's a little bit south of Cesar, I think.
So you're getting down close to Mount Vernon. I mean,
you're south of Mount Vernon.
South of Mount Vernon? Yeah. So probably between there and Marion and then head back.
Yeah, head back west. Yeah.
I'll be damned. Yep, that's getting down there. That's true Southern Illinois when you get down. I mean, we're like northern Southern Illinois. Is that what you would want to call it? I mean, we're like right on the edge of.
I prefer the term South Central.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We're not 618ers, but we can see them from where we're at.
Literally, we could see him from where we're at. Literally,
that's pretty close.
Yeah,
that's pretty close. But we'll fly our 217 flag. But yeah, we're close.
Yeah, in fact,
and I'm not knocking the 618ers. Don't get all your.
In fact, my neighbors a quarter mile to the south of me have a 618 address. That's no shit. Their mail all comes out of Beecher City.
Really?
Yep.
No kidding.
Yep, and that is a 618. That is the true 618.
I'll be damned.
Yep.
I don't know that.
Sure enough.
For the record, I live north of Tony.
Yeah, just barely.
Just barely.
I made it by the skin of my teeth.
Yeah, just far enough. Just far enough.
So here's what I want to know, and I'm not knocking the guy. So I'm going to get flamed for this, which we've all discussed my deal on politics anymore. I just don't vote. I'm just sick of all of it. It's meaningless. But of all the people, Darren Bailey, I mean, you would swear to God this guy come from southern Mississippi. It's like nobody in Illinois talks with the accent that you have. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm going to get flamed for this.
He's literally like 40 miles south here.
Yeah.
It's not like he's in, North Alabama.
Right.
Yeah.
If you put him on stage and had him read a paragraph, nobody's going to peg him from being from Illinois. It's like, what's going on,
I don't know. Gosh, I hope he wins. But I don't know. Yeah, he does have a
little bit of a twang.
A little twang to him.
Yeah, so I'm not knocking the guy. Don't misunderstand.
He's about the same distance from Effingham that we are.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's literally 30 miles south and we're 20 miles north.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. If we met in the middle, it'd be a race.
Yeah. But anybody else that I know from that area don't quite have the same twang that he's got. So I don't know where this come from. It's not fake. I'm not saying the guy's faking it by any means, but.
No. I hope for the sake of Illinois that he wins and can pull us through some shit because we got some shit to go through.
I'm completely baffled that he won the primary as handily as he. I mean, it wasn't even close. I mean, he just stomped everybody.
Well, they can only print so many ballots, and they're busy doing that for JB.
Right. And I see every morning now they're clipping him for farm subsidies. He's all about stop the handouts, but he's taking all these farm subsidies and blah, blah, blah. So they're grabbing for straws here, but whatever.
Well, unfortunately for him, he's probably already paid back his student loans.
Yeah. And so for those of you out-of-staters, so J.B. Pritzker, our governor, he's an heir to the Hyatt hotels. He's a billionaire.
I believe so, yeah.
And you guys are going to get a taste of him because he's going to run for president. Mm-hmm. And so, like, all through COVID, he's giving us all this health advice that we need to do this to stay healthy and we need to do that to stay healthy. And the guy literally weighs 700 fucking pounds. Yeah. But he's going to tell you need to be healthy.
And he spent most of his time in Wisconsin or Florida.
Yeah. Yep. And then when he got caught, remember, we got animals and horses up there that we had to tend to. That's what
he's doing chores on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, for sure. So
I bet he's mucked a lot of stalls in his day.
Yeah. Typical fucking slime ball.
Yeah.
But I'm just warning you, so tell all your friends when they hear the name J.B. Pritzker.
He looks like a fat mobster from an 80s movie.
Yeah. I mean, he's literally one of them guys that, like you don't look at his clothes and think, that guy could be a little bit overweight, but his clothes kind of hide it. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you see the guy, you're like, he's fucking fat. I mean, he's just huge. So
his chin is part of his chest because there's no neck in between.
Yeah, and
I'm fat, but he makes me look thin.
Yeah. So just put it on your radar, J.B. Pritzker out of Illinois, because he's going to run for president. Yeah. That's his ultimate goal. So just be sure to tell all your friends that he's a piece of shit and move on. So
if you see him run for anything, it'll be an election because he's damn sure not running on foot.
Yeah, and he's not running from a buffet. I can tell you that either.
Yeah. Golden Corral and him are tight.
Yeah.
No offense to Golden Corral.
Has the guy ever really done anything his entire life? I mean, he's just one of them.
He's clearly eaten.
Well, for sure.
Outside of that, I don't know that he's done anything.
Yeah.
I don't think he's done anything productive.
No. So I think that's where we're at in politics now. It's just going to be the millionaires and billionaires that are just going to start running the show.
Can afford to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. See, Nancy Pelosi's husband got clipped for a DUI, which...
To be married to her, you'd have to be drunk.
Oh, shit. I'd be on meth and everything else. I mean, just being honest. So
I can't believe he can drive. Surely you'd have gouged your eyes out years ago.
I would think.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure this is all smoke and mirrors. I mean, we got to make the headlines that, he actually got clipped for a DUI, but, we're going to sweep that under the rug that nobody will see that part of it.
Yeah. But. Well, maybe he was going to hang out with Hunter.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Yep.
You'll never know.
Yep, him and the big guy.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was riding my bike the other day. Didn't fall off. So, successful trip there. Kickstand saves lives, Tony. Kickstand saves lives.
Yep. 81, 82 million votes, man.
Yep, highest total ever. It's got to be true. Yeah. My challenge to most of Illinois this election cycle is, hold up. That's my challenge to anything south of I-80. Quit being so goddamn proud of how quick you can count. Yeah. Don't turn your votes in instantaneously.
Yeah.
We screw ourselves every year. We've been doing it since Kennedy got elected. This time, you know what? Next time the election gets done, you're the ballot counter guy or whatever. Go outside and burn one, crack a cold beer, maybe run up to the Legion, play a round of cards. Give it a few minutes before you turn into the tally.
Yeah. Has anybody else ever noticed, like, you're watching Fox News on election night?
7:03. Takes us 3 minutes to turn our votes in Illinois.
Illinois has already called, Joe Biden as the winner. It's like, really?
In 3 minutes. We count all this shit in 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. That's how good we are in Southern Illinois. We're awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's my challenge to Illinois this year. Take your time.
Yeah.
If I was a county, anything south of by 80, I wouldn't turn my votes in till sometime Thursday morning.
In the wee hours of the morning.
Yes. Well, we're finding some lock boxes. We're finding some shit, and we got extra ballots here, Tony. We got to have time to fill them out.
Yep. Well,
I'm not even saying cheat it. I'm just saying don't turn them in for a little bit. Give yourself 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Go to the bar. Shoot around a pool. Whatever you got to do. Yeah. Turn on the Straightforward Farming podcast.
Yeah.
Listen to an episode.
Exactly.
Then turn your votes in.
We should do live election coverage.
No, we should do live election coverage. Live from the courthouse with Mr. Growing Corn 2020. Bullshit. We ain't buying it, Joe.
Yeah. Is that like where the bottom of the barrel reporters go on election night, Illinois, and like 7:01, they're out of a job. It's like, well, fuck.
Yeah, no doubt. I got hired and fired the same day.
Yeah, you always get the guys, Georgia, New Hampshire, wherever, they get to go all night long.
Yeah, exactly. Here reporting from the courthouse. Yeah, ours wouldn't last very long.
Nope,
we're super good. We're always so proud we can count. It's like, we got our shoes off. We counted all these votes. Turn them in quick.
Yeah.
This year, let's just pump the brakes, take our time. Give Darren Bailey a chance and don't turn him in too quick. Because it doesn't matter how many votes he gets at 9 o'clock that night or 7:05 that night. It only matters what they find throughout the night.
Right.
To make the election.
Remember when Bill Brady ran against Pat Quinn, and there's 102 counties in Illinois? And Bill Brady won either 100 or 101 counties, and Pat Quinn got elected because he won Cook County.
Yeah, and at 10 o'clock that night, Bill Brady had won. There's no way they could catch him in Chicago. And did you believe those last couple precincts had a record voter turnout?
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
They had all kinds of votes in those counties.
Remember when Al Franken got elected in Minnesota as a senator, that piece of shit?
Yeah, piece of shit that he was.
That went on for like 2 weeks, and by God, we found some in the trunk of a car that they was bringing him to the courthouse.
Yeah.
But there's no election fraud in this country. I mean, I'm telling you,
we won't have to worry about that soon, Tony. Once we go to all electric cars, they won't be able to haul those ballots.
That's right.
They won't have the capacity for it.
That's right.
They'll just be out there swimming in the yellow waters of the lithium mine, saying, "Damn, what a good day."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Good old lithium mines. That's
where it's at.
Yep. Yeah. What a deal.
Environmentally friendly.
I think I just am going to have to run for office.
I don't want to run for office. I want to run for supreme dictator. I only need to do it for a couple of weeks.
That's how I am.
I think I could solve most of it pretty quick.
Oh, I know I could. Basically, the day I was elected, if you're currently in Congress or have ever served in Congress, you're hung for treason immediately. Immediately.
Yes.
On national TV, no questions
asked.
Your
family and maybe even your dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We can start off taking off the career politicians and the lawyers.
And I always get tired of the lame excuse, well, there is a handful of good ones, so we're willing to ride this all the way down for the 5 good ones.
Yeah.
But keep the rest of the bad. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
we're wiping them all out.
We're lumping you together. Yeah. You guys are shit out of luck.
It's like if you ever looked at a cornfield in the spring and think, God damn, I don't know whether to replant it or not, and finally you just get pissed and you just tear it all up. Yeah. We're not patching around here.
I'm not the guy you want to send to that deal, Tony.
Me neither.
Dad told me one time, this has been years ago, he's like, go over to this farm and take the field cultivator and, try to figure out how many bags of corn you think I need to bring. So I hollered back on the radio. I said, you want to bring enough to do it all? What for? Because I'm tearing it all up.
Exactly.
I drove for a little bit. It was some here, some there.
Yep.
There's only one way to solve
this. Shut your eyes and go.
Total annihilation.
Yep.
I'll just devastate it all. You plant the whole thing over again, we'll be good.
I don't believe in hoeing corn. We don't even have a hoe anymore. I hoe everything with a field cultivator.
Yeah.
All of it. Tear it all
is something you do to kill time while you decide whether or not to replant it.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. And then 10 days from then, you look at it and think, God damn it, I should have replanted it. So so I think it's the same approach with Congress.
Yes.
We're just going to tear it all up. And
that's how our forefathers did it, Tony.
That's right.
God save the king.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't all that bad. Nah, we're just going to go ahead and get around that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No offense, Uppy.
I cannot imagine what our forefathers would be thinking.
Oh, my gosh.
Right now. I mean, we burned Boston to the ground over a 2% tax on tea.
Yeah. Yeah. Yet here we are.
Yep.
Yet here we are.
And I mean, that's all Facebook has been filled with is this student loan forgiveness and this and that. And they know they've got everybody buffaloed because that's all it's going to be is just a little rant on Facebook. And a week from now, everybody's going to be scratching their ass and buying new Nike shoes and forget all about it.
Yep. No
and away we go.
No big deal.
Yep.
Nothing shocks us anymore. What would have to happen in these times to push the American people past the breaking point?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It'll never happen.
I don't think a big enough event can happen at this point.
I mean, it really can't. I mean, look at COVID. They said you can't leave your house. You can't do this.
Can't do that.
And everybody just blindly followed it.
Yeah, we'll do that. Oh, I didn't. You didn't. But we're just hanging out together at that point in time because we couldn't go anywhere else.
Exactly. And to me, that tells you right there as to how we're going to handle gun control next, because all these people can blow all this shit on Facebook that, they'll never get my guns. Yeah. Well, let me guess, you probably got the jab and you probably followed the rules that says you can't cut somebody's hair because we'll pull your license.
Yeah. Yeah, no shit, right? Ooh.
Yeah. Forgive me for even having a fucking license to cut hair in the first place.
How fucked up do we have to be as a society when you have to have a license to cut hair?
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can go to an abortion clinic at 17 and we do not have to notify your parents.
Yes. But you want to cut my hair before I get that abortion? You better have a license. You better have a fucking
license or we are shutting you down, pal.
Yeah. Yeah, your ass is mine.
Yeah.
Well, your hair's too short. We're gonna have to take your diploma. Yeah. What a joke.
So when everybody wants to be Tommy Tough Titties on Facebook and they'll never get my guns, trust me, son, it don't matter at this point because it's going to be you and about 3 other people that are left with them, and at that point, it don't matter.
And you'll have long hair. We'll be able to pick out of a crowd because an unlicensed beautician can't cut that. Yeah. Yeah, there you'll be. 5,000
people are not going to fix this problem. You got to have, and we're probably going to get pulled for this. And we're not on here advocating for civil war or whatever. I'm just saying.
But if you were to start one,
it's going to take more than a couple people to do this.
Yeah, no doubt.
But nah, people just blindly follow.
Yeah.
And it'll always be one of them deals that, okay, the old neighbor over here that is anti-gun, as soon as the government says, hey, we're going to give you a $25,000 bounty for anybody you know that has guns.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? They're going to turn you in.
They're going to turn you in.
And what good does a gun buried in the pasture do me?
Yeah.
That does me no good. So,
yeah,
it's a catch-22. So we've passed that point.
Well, I'm hoping some of those assault rifles rise up and take care of themselves. I've been led to believe they're super dangerous.
So, for sure.
They'll surely defend themselves.
Yeah, they're awful.
Yeah. They're not near as dangerous as a Democrat with a pen, near as I can tell.
Well, you ain't a shitting.
Yeah.
Or most Republicans.
Yeah. Yeah. Big thank you to the rhinos with no backbones, spines, or balls. Yeah. We appreciate all the fine work you've done.
I seen old Trump called out Mitch McConnell this week. What the hell did he call him? A washed up, or I can't remember the term.
For those of you from Kentucky or just older people than us, was Mitch McConnell ever worth a fucking anything?
Right. He looks like a turtle. He can't. He only moves half of one side of his lip.
He's completely useless, near as I can tell. Was he ever good at anything prior to like not that long ago?
Right. And I do not know this for sure. I swear on my life, but I'll bet my computer's sitting right here. If we were to Google Mitch McConnell, we're going to find out that he was probably like an aide for Richard Nixon or somewheres where it all started.
Now,
you just keep following.
We can't look that up currently because we'd have to stop the podcast
exactly.
to let the dial up hook into that.
Exactly.
Instead of paying off the student loans, how about,
That's all I've heard for 10 years. We need rural internet.
Yes.
Well, where the fuck's that? Because I don't have it.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
Exactly. Crap, I don't have it. I was in a city last weekend. I didn't have it there either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the way it always goes. All them people start out as an aide in the fucking 60s.
Oh, yeah.
Come right on up through the chain of command.
Well, most of them were dope-smoking hippies in the 60s. They were too candy-ass to serve in Vietnam, so.
Yeah.
They signed up to do some other bullshit and got high up and got in the education department while everybody else was fighting and getting shot at.
Yep.
On a Democrat war that we weren't going to fight.
Right.
For reasons that nobody really knows.
Go after the enemy, but don't cross this line. Whatever you do,
don't
stop.
Shoot them. Gosh dang it. We're running hearts and minds here, Tony.
Yeah.
We're going to convince them they're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to have seen how that went over with George Washington when we were fighting the king.
Yeah.
When you get to Delaware, stop. Don't cross into Delaware.
Yeah.
But by God, you run them back to there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not happening.
Even H. Norman Schwarzkopf, God rest his soul, he wouldn't have put up with that shit.
No, he wouldn't have. No, it's a sad state of affairs.
Yeah.
But what do you do? Put your head down, go to work, give half your money to the government, and
hell, I'd be tickled pink at this point in time to only have to give half.
Yeah. But hey, now, stop. I'm going to stop you right there. We got the Inflation Reduction Act coming on board here.
It's going to reduce it. I can already
just like the Affordable Care Act made health care and health insurance affordable.
Affordable.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yep. So inflation will be falling like a rock soon.
Yes. So here's what I need from our listeners. Particularly if we have any, we probably don't. Any of our libtard listeners, what I need you guys to do is go in your bathroom, look in the mirror, and then grab yourself firmly by the ears and try to pluck your head right on out of your ass.
Yeah.
And get on board with the rest of us, and let's get this ship sailing.
In fact, if you're a liberal, we actually ask that you just quit listening. We don't even want your business.
Yeah,
just
at this point in time,
get out. And I'm sure one of you have to leave a shitty comment on YouTube. That's fine, because I'll block you. No big deal.
Yeah, we don't care.
I just have nothing to say to you people. And so thank you for the shape that we're in.
Yeah. Yeah, but honestly, I can't even blame them. At least they're honest about their dipshit platform. Yeah. It's the rhinos that piss me off.
Right.
We're going to protect you from this. We're going to solve this. We're going to do this. Those guys over there were just a little too aggressive. We reached across the aisle. Next thing you know, we're getting a hand job from a tranny, and we just can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I'm tired of the lame excuse that, well, both parties are too extreme.
Yeah.
How the fuck is the Republican Party too extreme? They can't get nothing done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no balls.
Yeah. And another tidbit for you listeners. If you ever want to pick a Democrat, if you're standing in a bar with a buddy, and you're like, man, I can tell by the way this guy dresses, he's a fucking Democrat. If you want to bet your buddy $20 and win $20, all you have to do is go over to this guy who looks like a Democrat and ask him a question, because a Democrat will always answer a question with a question.
Yes.
Because they have a weak argument.
Yes.
So you can say, so how do you think Joe Biden, or you can make any comment you want, about Joe Biden or whatever you think's going on, and there will never be that, well, we didn't really agree with this, but this or that. It's always, well, Donald Trump did this, and what do you think he did that? Yeah. They will always answer a question
with a question.
With a question.
Yeah.
I promise you. You don't believe me? Try it.
Yeah. That's your bar time challenge for the next weekend after you go out, after you listen to this podcast. You go to the bar, you pull that, you try that. You don't have to go to a bar. You go any public place, you try that, let me know how it goes.
Yep.
Yeah. Liberals. Yeah, we could do without them. Imagine a world without them. How great it would be.
Oh, God, wouldn't it be something?
Yeah. And rhinos.
I wish we could at least draw a line in the U.S. Liberals on one side, conservative, and I don't care. I'll take any half, north, south, east, whatever. It don't matter. Yeah. I don't care what the climate is.
Split it up.
It can be as shitty as it needs to be, because after your side collapses, we're going to take it anyway.
Yeah, I say, how long is it going to take them? Right. I mean, they're going to starve.
Right.
They clearly can't fight. They won't have guns.
They have no transportation.
Their electric cars are going to be dead in no time flat.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be too hard to take them over.
Right, so that's fine. You force us to North Dakota. Yeah. That's fine. So I'll go there for a year.
Could you live towards, pick your area? Well, I think you have. I think it's California.
Yeah.
They've picked it. When can we go invade?
Right.
Yeah. I'm going to hop in my 79 Ford, listen to the glass packs cackle, and drive right on home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we can take you.
How did we get on politics on the straightforward farming?
We never got on politics. Let's get back to farm machinery.
Yeah, no shit.
We started off on the 4010, and I didn't even get wound up about that yet.
I know.
I did apparently go on a small rant at Bowling Green over 4010s, 20s, 60, 30s, 5010s, whatever. A buddy of mine caught it on video, but somehow silenced it, so it's just a bunch of me waving my arms. Thank goodness he didn't get the audio.
Yeah.
Not that I have anything against him, but
in my defense, and we've all talked about this before, and I've told you this for years, as far as 4010s, 4020s, they're not that great of a tractor.
I fully understand why you like your 4010s, your grandpa's. I fully understand that.
Yep.
I'm not knocking you for that. I would do the same thing.
You will never, ever hear me say that was the greatest tractor ever made.
My grandpa's 630 case.
Right.
And there's not a lot of redeeming qualities to that.
Yeah, but
I've got it.
That's getting bottom of the barrel.
Well, now considering the other options he gave my father and what he was willing to purchase, 630 case is looking pretty damn good.
Really? Mm-hmm.
One thing about a 630 case, you're not going to start it in gear because you start with the gear shift.
Really?
Yep.
So it's got a switch.
One spot is start.
No kidding.
Yep, hits the switch. That's what starts it. You're not going to start it in gear. Can't do it. Couldn't do it if you wanted to.
I'll be damned. Yeah. Didn't know that.
And then you pull the old case-o-matic.
Yeah.
And then you wait for the brakes to unlock, and you go lurching forward. Because it usually don't move till you slap it in case-o-matic because the brakes are shit because it's a case.
Right.
But, yeah.
That's really, and I don't mean this like the way this is going to sound because everybody knows me on TikTok, but, 50 years ago, everybody had a case tractor and a gleaner combine. I mean, everybody.
Around here, yeah.
And it's like when that shit died, it died. I mean, there is no case tractors left.
Little known fact, both my grandpas, the last new tractor they bought was case.
Really?
My grandpa on my mom's side bought an 830 gas that my cousin still has, and my grandpa on my dad's side bought a 630 diesel.
No kidding.
Yep.
Yeah.
So my dad was leaps and bounds. Like, after screwing with that thing, I'm like, ain't no wonder you went red. Like,
yeah, for sure.
This makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and even when you got up into the I'm going to just call them the white colored case tractors, I don't know if that was 70s or early 80s, whatever it was.
Anything newer than a 1030.
I mean, there just wasn't none of them around here. I mean, very, very, very few.
Very few. Yeah, very few white ones. Once Desert Sunset ended, There wasn't a lot of white ones.
Nope. And Gleaner combines.
Honestly, that was the end of the good ones too.
Yeah. And Gleaner combines, a lot of them ended in about the early to mid 80s around here. You know, guys run them through the 70s, and then a lot of guys either went red or green and never went back.
Yeah.
But that's
understandably so.
That is 2 tractors I've never drove in my life. Is a white, and I'm talking like Oliver and a white tractor or a Case. I've never drove either one of them ever.
I can hook you up.
Yeah. And there's a lot of white tractors around
I'll be
here.
honest with you, you're not really missing anything. But yeah, I actually won't knock the 630. I don't mind it.
For its, I mean, like what model year? Would that be like a mid-50s?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. It was right at the tail end of my dad being at home. So.
Yeah, so.
It had been.
Mid to 60s, I guess.
Mid-late 50s-ish to early 60s.
Okay, yeah.
Probably, I would say. I don't have to look, because I remember he had a 33 Massey diesel, which I'd dearly love to get back. Jackass won't sell it to me. Grandpa had an 88 Oliver diesel that broke, after it broke the second crank, or the third crank, he traded it off, I think on the 630.
So he was all about diesel, kind of ahead of its time.
My grandpa on the McCormick side went diesel as soon as it come out.
Really?
He was diesel way back.
No kidding. Yeah, that's kind of rare. I mean, a lot of them guys didn't because it was new.
Well,
I mean,
diesel was cheap.
Yeah.
He was tight. He went diesel very early on.
Which I wonder back then might have been hard to get somebody to work on a diesel. I mean, I'm not going to say it was new technology, but nobody around here had diesel stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he went diesel very early on.
I wonder what diesel did cost back then. 30 cents a gallon?
Something like that.
I mean, it couldn't have been
40
shit.
Cents, it wasn't much. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he switched to diesel early on. My dad's first tractor was a 350 diesel International.
Really?
Yeah, first tractor he bought. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Diesel probably got real popular by probably the mid 70s. I mean, there were several guys who went to it in the 60s with the new generation Deeres and 806s and stuff. But I'd say by mid 70s, you know, stuff was getting bigger.
Gas was pretty out.
Yeah. Or maybe even early 70s. When did like a 1066 come out? Was it
71?
71. So yeah, by then I'd say most guys were moving up the ladder.
Yeah, late 60s gas was getting phased out.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
I guess I farmed with a few gas tractors when I was a kid, H and a WD Alice Chalmers. And
we had a D14 for a while. What a miserable piece of shit.
Yeah.
Had an Oliver 88 gas with a belly mower that we mowed with. That wasn't horrible. Dad sold it. We got a D14, which was miserable.
I wonder how many tractors your dad has owned over the years.
Oh my gosh.
It's been a shit pot full.
Yeah, it's a shit pot. They made 40-some-thousand 1066s. He had 30-some-thousand of them.
Yeah.
We never farmed with the same set of equipment 2 years in a row till Heath and I got higher up the ladder.
Yeah.
We never did. Like every tractor we ever farmed with, like this was wrong with it, that was wrong with it. You just deal with it. We'd fix it and he'd sell it. I'm like, we just got it fixed. Yeah, I know now it's worth something. Every tractor I ever farmed with, the torque was out, the clutch was weak, like didn't shift, the steering was wore out, something. We'd fix it all in the shop that winter and off it went.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, I remember you had a 1256 when I was a kid. Thing smoked like a freight train.
That thing did smoke like a freight train. I love that tractor. Yeah, I love that thing.
Yep, sure enough.
Yeah. That was,
you guys didn't have many of the 86 series, though, did you? I mean,
actually, an 86 series is what my grandpa had a farming.
You had was it a 1486?
No, we had a 10. My dad had a pretty badass 1086. That's when grandpa was retired, but he would still help here and there. And a couple of days of running that, he told Dad, if you're going to keep that thing, I'm done. So Dad obviously didn't get rid of it.
Yeah.
Make sure that ended. And we ended up selling it to my uncle. And then we sold it to some good pulling friends of ours, the Bramer brothers from Beaverville, Illinois. How we ended back up with that thing. They ended up with it for several years. Because he always claimed you had to have a sheep to keep it dry, you know, something to rub up against it and wipe the oil off of it. But yeah, we had a 1586 when I was a kid, which I dearly loved. That was kind of my tractor-ish for a while, and we got rid of it, and we were kind of out of 86s for a while. And
yeah, for some reason I was thinking that one when you was a kid was a 1486, but I guess
no, we had a 10, then we went to a 15 at some point. Then we got that 5288 that we had forever that I would still like to have back. Love that tractor. Spent a lot of time in that thing. It was a good tractor.
There were several 86 series tractors around here when we were kids.
Yeah. A lot of disappointment. A lot of guys get rid of 14s and 10s for those, and they were what they were, but they weren't a 1466 for sure.
Yep. By today's standards, they're somewhat cheap horsepower. A lot of guys buy them to put them on like TMR mixers and shit.
Yeah.
Just because
they'll start, they'll run. The PTO's great.
You're not beating around in them all day. You're just running here and there.
Stationary work.
And most guys don't want them, so you can buy them cheap, you know. Which, goddamn, they did ride rough. Man, I had a neighbor had a 1086, and I would always run that. And, man, I don't miss them.
They told that at the dealer meeting that year. That they rode like a horse. He raised his hands like, who in the hell told you a horse rode good?
Yeah.
It's true. Set in the middle, not a good plan.
No.
And they didn't weigh enough. You know, later tractors ride better because they weigh 3 times as much. You know, a Magnum sets in the same spot, but it rides better because it weighs way more.
Yeah.
You know?
What was a 1586? That was like 160, 180 horse?
Yeah.
Something like
right
that.
In there.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't see many of them around the countryside anymore. Around here, I mean.
And that's what they were stock. Nobody farmed with those stock.
Yeah.
You give me a stock tractor, and boy, I remember we traded for a 5288 one time, and it wasn't super far away, so we didn't haul it back. Dad just dropped me off, and I drove it home. I got back to the shop, and I was all pissed off, and he's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I had to shift down. He's like, what do you mean you had to shift down? I'm like, I had to shift down going up a hill. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah. And we had a 52 at the time, and I can assure you I would not have had to shift down with that one going up a hill. He's like, what do you think? I'm like, I think I need a 10 millimeter wrench and a screwdriver. Yeah. This is some bullshit. Like, I ain't putting up with that. Yeah. I've spoiled you with horsepower. I'm like, that may be. But if we're going to keep this thing around very long, we didn't farm with it ever. We sold it right away. But, stock is.
I couldn't imagine going to the field with a 2-wheel drive tractor nowadays.
Yeah, we would never get done.
You'd never do anything.
That's why we farmed in May.
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean, you couldn't farm in April because you didn't have enough traction to do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that would just, I couldn't do it. And I've said 100 times, I think nowadays the machinery has added to yields every bit as much as what, everybody wants to talk about genetics and whatnot. I'm not saying they haven't improved, but the machinery nowadays is tenfold better than what it was when we were kids. You get to a wet spot, hell, from one end of the field to the other, you might have to bump the field goal elevator up 3 or 4 times in 3 or 4 different spots, And
it wasn't wide enough to swing out in the mud hole and kind of work it dry. Like you had to drive through the mud hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody always talks, well, my rolling basket's plugged. Not if you're good enough. If you get it just right, you can set it down, you click her into high range, you can throw that mud right out of the basket, turn around and come back and work it over again.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever dug mud out of a rolling basket. You just drop her down and go, and she'll fling her out.
Yeah, she'll fling her out if you work at it hard enough.
Oh. Which we've actually got away from rolling baskets on everything, which has worked out well. They seem to be high maintenance for little return. So with the 6-bar harrows on everything.
Yeah, I got no problem with my baskets on my Salford stuff. They got big bearings on them. They don't cause any grief. And the Heston field cultivators had baskets before anybody else, really.
Yeah.
And they had good bearing. We didn't even really have bearing trouble with those either. But you Conskilty guys, you guys got to change a lot of bearings.
I don't miss them at all.
Yeah, you guys got to change.
We never had much bearing trouble, but I'm not a fan of Danish tine.
Yeah, the Danish tine's fine, but the frame's breaking all the time. That's not too awesome. So, fortunately, New Holland killed that off for everybody. We'll go ahead and buy them, shook hand the company, move on.
Yeah, to my knowledge, you can't get any of that shit anymore, can you? I mean, they pretty much completely scrapped it.
As far as I know.
Which
I sell a lot of parts for Conskilty stuff because I can source it from other places. But
yeah, which my experience from dumping Conskilty and going to Sunflower, I'm glad they shit canned it because they just weren't well made. They just weren't.
No. And the better they tried to make the frame, the worse job it did.
Yeah. Ours was always, we never had trouble with bearings on the rolling baskets. You couldn't keep rolling baskets on it. It was always breaking the hangers, breaking the frame, not the cultivator frame itself, but the frame of the baskets where it went to the main frame of the cultivator. Oh, it was just a nightmare.
Yeah. I'm on the opposite side of it. Sulfur stuff's made too good. I can't sell any parts.
Yeah.
Unless somebody backs it into a tree, then nothing ever breaks.
Yeah.
And there's not enough trees around here. So.
No, that there's not. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think machinery has helped yields as much as hybrids ever have.
Well, if early planting is a thing, and we all know it is, you can push the envelope a little harder with a four-wheel drive with big tires than you can with a two-wheel drive 1086.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
4440, whatever. Pick your poison.
I mean, the last 6-7 years around here, we got to force ground to dry. It's so wet. I mean, crack it open. And
you've got a small window in April, and then your next window's in June. You pretty much got May off.
Yeah.
And you have to have it done by the insurance date in June. So then you're really busting ass. So, yeah.
Yeah, it would be funny to just drop us all back with the same machinery that we had 25 years ago and just say, farm with it for one day and let me know how that goes.
I just told a buddy of mine that this morning, actually. We were talking about stuff. I'm like, but I like all that old stuff, but I farm with that shit. I don't have to farm with it again.
Yeah.
Like, well, we still got a lot of it. We use it for other things. I'm not dying to work 200 acres down with a 490 disc and a 1466. Like, I'm good.
Nope, that's just like my 4010. That's fine to take on a tractor drive here and there, but if you said go farm 600 acres or whatever with that thing,
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I think I'm okay.
Yeah. You can give me a Bluetooth Fender radio, and I'm still not going to be that thrilled.
No.
I'm still going to be dirty. I'm going to be hot. I'm going to be tired when I'm
right. Yeah. We took that thing on a tractor drive last Sunday, and I mean, hell, cumulatively, we didn't drive 15 miles, and we stopped here and there and stopped at the bar and this and that. But I remember about halfway through that drive, I thought, God damn, my ears are hurt on this thing, And it don't seem that loud till you sit on it for hours on end. It's like, God damn.
I love my 1468, but pulling it out of the shed, wrecking the throttle a couple of times, I'm good.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Yep, I agree. I don't know.
I don't need another long night in a Carhartt with fire coming out of the pipes.
No.
When it's cold as shit. No, I'm good. I don't need it.
And I will assure you, if you pulled in a fleet of wagons today and said you have to harvest with wagons from now on, then I'm done for sure. I'm out.
Yeah.
Not going to do it.
Yeah. I'm with you there.
I don't care if they're the good big 600 bushel wagons with brakes and lights and shit. I'm not doing it. I'm not.
Last time we got one of those out and actually took it to town, we got done with that, and I immediately parked everything back in the shed. Dad's like, what are you doing? I'm like, yeah, we're good. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, you can't see around them. There's so much more traffic now.
Yep.
That tractor hadn't been off the farm in probably 10 years.
Yeah.
So it was just hopping all the way. Tires were flat spotted. Like I had to stand the whole time. Like you can't see around it. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Park that right back in the shed.
Yep.
That wagon is for grain bin on use only. Like we're all good.
Yeah. Hell, I think everybody around here that ever had wagons got hit.
Yeah.
Was in wreck. I mean, there was just shit happening all the time around here.
When we had old shitty wagons, my brother made it his mission that year to make sure Dad bought new tires for every wagon. Every freaking time the radio went off, my brother had a flat tire. Dad had to load up the shit and we go fix it. And I'm like, so I told him, like, would you just slow down? Nope, these tires suck. I'm going to get them fixed.
And you know as well as I do, there's nothing any safer in the world than jacking up a wagon full of corn with a little bottle jack trying to change tires.
I mean, you met my brother, so once in a while, that was, Nothing was better than a night. He hollers on the radio, he lost his wagons. What do you mean you lost your wagons? I can't find them. What do you mean you can't find them? We had just traded for this tractor, and the pin that holds the drawbar in, the bolt fell out. And he led up to cross a bridge, hit the throttle, took off. Wagons are gone.
Shit.
Drawbar and everything fell out. And they went, luckily, they caught a field lane. Well, let me rephrase. The front wagon caught a field lane. The back wagon caught a ditch.
Yeah.
The back wagon didn't survive very well, but they ended up out in a cornfield. Of course, back then, those lights on those tractors were like holding two big lighters in the wind, So he's looking for them. He can't find these wagons. So we roll up there in the pickup truck and look around. Oh, it looks like there's some tracks here. We found them. Get everything hooked back up. Drawbar's still intact. Pin's still with it. Whatever. We got everything back in there and pulled them to town. Called the elevator. Hey, stay open late. You know, so on and so forth. And we got them in there. It wrecked the back one. Like your vertical braces on the right side, it crumpled the shit out of those. That was an Oliver wagon frame.
Really?
Which you don't see a lot of. With, I can't even tell, like a Kill Brothers box or something at the time. The front one survived. It was an easy trail, I think. It survived. It was fine. But, yeah, physically lost the wagons.
I tell you what, wagons hung on around here probably as long as any location in the U.S. I mean, shit, I was 30 years old, and there was still a lot of wagons around
still
here.
A lot of wagons.
But they've pretty well about all phased out now. I mean, there might be a straggler here or there.
Yeah, they're getting thin. Yeah, they're getting thin. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go back to that for nothing.
No, I mean, we're thinking we're rolling tall cotton when we had those first 400 bushel Everfurs. Semi-tires. Like, that's a fat hog in the ass right there. Like,
and you was taking 800 bushel to town, you know, because he's always pulling two of them.
Yeah, I'm always pulling two, and had good tires on. Well, I mean, they were shitty semi-tires, but they would last forever on a wagon.
Yeah, and they trailed nice.
They didn't bounce. They trailed nice. Yeah. Unless you got in the mud, then they weren't so good.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Beat the shit out of a flotation tire, though.
For sure.
They didn't hop and bounce and carry on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to always remember it sounded like friggin' World War II, you know, up around the elevator in harvest time, you know, because everybody taking off out there with empty wagons and the banging and the clanging. I mean, God, you could hear that for a mile away.
You get that much slop in that many spots, and
And then you always had the guys, you know, there's guys right here pulling 4 wagons at a time, and it's like, Jesus criminy.
Yeah, it didn't work out so well.
No, but yeah, they've about all phased out.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'd still like to have a 744 just to park at the bend. I don't really need it, but
yeah,
always kind of wanted one.
Yeah, we got one wagon left, and it's literally for transferring grain from one bin. We can set up 2 augers, and you got to, you know, you can't dump an auger into an auger. You got to have a wagon or something sitting there. But yeah, that's some bitch same way. It ain't left to farm. And well, the last time we used it was back when we was getting beans in the big bags instead of boxes.
Yeah.
And it had an auger on it, so we'd fill the drill with it, you know, years ago.
Yeah. Good times.
Yep.
That auger was a godsend compared to doing it with a 5-gallon bucket.
Mm-hmm.
We just fill our drill with a 5-gallon bucket. Now that is a rocking good time.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Had a little wooden deal made to fit in the chute because, you know, a bucket's not very wide and the chute was wider than the bucket. That would narrow it down to the bucket size, and you take out, you know, 6 buckets or whatever, and redneck fireman it back and forth, you know, make a chain. What a miserable bitch.
Ain't it funny how when you don't know any different, you don't think nothing about it? I mean, so like I always look back, and I'm going to go back to like the 40s or even the 30s or whatever, or even the 20s. I mean, back when it was real hard farming, it's like, why did anybody ever stay home and do this profession?
Yeah,
I mean,
it seems like a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not hard to see why guys left the farm then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's definitely changed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, there's a lot of guys nowadays. If you just went back to a 15 or 20 foot drill and said, you know, hey, you got 800 acres of beans to plant with this thing, they're like, fuck you.
80 acres with a 15-foot drill is a pretty good day.
Damn right.
I think the best I ever got was 120 some or 140 some, and that was busting ass.
Yeah.
And we don't have good running, but you know, as a kid, everybody had a 2-ton truck or 1-ton truck with some sideboards, and the elevator had a hoist, and you'd haul your whopping 100 and some bushel in there.
Yeah, I mean, in 1998, when we were graduating high school, a 6-row planter around here was still very common.
Mm-hmm.
There were several 12s. Nobody had a 16, and
no.
I mean, the 24 wasn't even thought of. I mean, you know, that was somewhere in Saskatchewan. You know, you'd never have one of them down here. Well, they're a dime a dozen around here now.
I remember not too long after my grandpa retired, he had probably a 1-ton Chevy or a 3/4-ton Chevy before that. And he'd got a Ford freaking Ranger.
Yeah.
And he was sitting there in the farm lot, and we had a 715 then. And Dad had dumped, you know, most of the whopping, 100 and some bushel that thing held probably. And he had a little bit left over, and he pulled over Grandpa's brand new Ford Ranger. He kicked her on. He dumped the bed full. That bumper wasn't an inch off the ground. Grandpa was not happy. We had no choice. He had to go to town. They hoisted it up, slid it out. He never parked it in the open after that. It was always in the garage after that. Never left it out there. My dad laughed about that. Still to this day.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the first vehicle I was ever in that had overdrive.
Really?
It was a manual, but it had overdrive. We didn't have anything with it.
Was that the little, it was like a purple and raspberry?
That one was orange and white.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that one. Okay.
The one after that was like a maroonish.
Or yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, like a maroonish one after that. But yeah, because that one was automatic. Because I remember that's right when we got the first international combine. And Grandpa picked me up, going to the field to see this new international combine. We pull in the driveway. He slides her in there and drive, slams the brakes, clicks her in reverse, says, yep, ought to last a long time, take care of it, and peels out the other way, and off we went. We weren't there 15 seconds. We're gone.
He was a dandy.
All right, I guess we're good. It was kind of purplish raspberry, or kind of purplish red.
Yep.
Yeah, we're good. All right, I guess we're doing fine. Which it was a hell of an improvement over that TR-70. God, I hate it. I mean, the TR-70 was way better than that 715 on a lot of aspects. But I worked on that TR-70 a hell of a lot more. It did a great job if you could keep it in the field.
Yep.
Keep fuel in it.
Yeah, that's back when you guys ran a row crop John Deere bean head on that thing, wasn't it?
Well, because New Holland's platform sucks so bad.
Yep. Them row crop heads actually did work slick in 30-inch beans. I think they were better than a Draper, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean,
I cannot believe that somebody in today's world with plastic and poly and all this shit hasn't come back out with one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, they worked
good.
slick.
I mean, they were high maintenance and they were heavy, but you could unscrew most of that now.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, because back then, God, you could just fly through the field with them things. I mean, there was no shatter whatsoever. No. I mean, it just...
One of those now that's still in decent shape and still usable still brings good money.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time I ever ran one was when I went on wheat harvest that year. We got back to fall crops and a lot of milo out there, so worked great for cutting milo.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, hell, and then end up cutting several beans with one too, but yeah, they work great. And you know, now, I mean, you're going to be looking, I don't know if you could ever get one of them in a 16 row. I mean, 12 would be a stretch. I mean, everybody wants such a big head now that
you could surely do a 16 row folding though with today's technology. And
well, I suppose, I mean, yeah.
I was always curious who Deere bought that from, stole that from, borrowed that from. Like maybe they came up with it on their own. I'd be doubtful, but maybe they did. But they were so gosh darn heavy. I remember going to move that. We had a 3-point head carrier, and when you're going to rearrange the shed, like that was a nightmare. When you had to move that, like I had to sit on the front of the tractor.
Yeah.
My brother had to sit on the front of the tractor. Like everything was badass heavy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, them work slick, and then the no-till drills come out, and that's what killed them.
That killed them. I killed them dead. Everything went to step drilled beans, and they were over.
But God, you could fly through the field with them. Hell, I remember cutting beans at 6 mile an hour on a 6-row.
There was no shatter. They were good to go.
Yeah, and then nowadays, you get these damn beans. They get so tall and they go down. They'd work great on that. I mean, it's just like corn. It just stands them back up, and right in they come. You're not.
I'm surprised nobody's got back into that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when in the world of 40-foot drapers, like.
Yeah. Just no need for it.
No need for it. But you would think with some of your other crops, maybe there would be like milo, etc.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I mean, milo was a big deal when I was a kid. I can't tell you the closest milo field to us now.
Oh, God.
We always raised milo when I was a kid. Itchy, nasty shit. It was typical of my dad. Like we had like 20, 40 acres of it. Right. Just enough to be a pain in the ass.
Yep.
And but a lot of hog farmers and stuff around here fed that.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know anybody that grows. I don't know where you would sell it if you did grow it around here.
Oh, you'd probably have to take it straight to St. Louis. And even when it phased out right here in our area, you went 20 miles south and there was still a lot of it for a few years after that. But now it's gone.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Good old Milo.
Yep. Boy, that is nasty, itchy shit.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It just makes me shake thinking about it. God.
Hey, no kidding. Makes me quiver a little bit.
I know at the time, the last time we raised that shit, it cost half as much as corn to plant, and it was usually worth about the same amount per bushel as corn selling it. And I don't remember around here. I was thinking like 140, 50 bushel Milo was good Milo.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, it wasn't like a corn crop where you're getting 200 bushel. Now, I don't know today. I mean, it's been 20 years since I messed with it. I have no idea what Milo yields today, but that's what it was around here. 140 was really good.
Yeah.
But I know you could always raise really good soybeans after milo because it was so much fodder and trash. I mean, it was just.
It was good on light dirt.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it didn't need much rain to.
No, and a ton of guys used it for feed.
Right.
They'd have enough for some feed. Yeah. I don't miss it.
No, I don't either. I sure don't.
I don't think we ever had milo past the TR70. We might not even had milo when we had the TR70. I don't know. I spent most of my time with that combine inside of it, so I don't know what happened from the cab view. I spent most of my time inside of it.
Yeah.
So when that piece of shit slugged, big deal. The panels you had to push in to get them off. We couldn't push them in because it slugged. And my brother screwed me on that a couple of times. We had a 3-wheeler at this one farm, and we take turns riding it. Well, Dad went to town to get parts. We were supposed to unslug it while he was gone. My brother said, well, I'll ride the 3-wheeler first, and you dig, and then when, I'll come back here in a few minutes, and you can ride, and I'll do it. Yeah, he come back when he heard Dad coming down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I crawled back out of that, yeah. He claimed he'd been there the whole time. Mike and ass, he'd been there the whole time.
God, the thought of just unslugging a combine, just,
Yeah.
Nowadays, everything's so big and the head's so big. I mean, by the time you slug one today, you've got a fucking problem now.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. Just hook a chain to a rasp bar. You can pretty much unslug them.
That's what I've heard.
Pickup truck, tractor, you can get them unslugged. That happens.
Yeah.
I haven't had to do that in quite some time, but.
Yeah, I've actually, knock on wood, I've never slugged the rotor on a deer combine. I've slugged feeder house, which that's easy, hit the reverser and away you go, but I've never slugged the rotor on a deer combine.
I slugged the rotor on our 1460 once. I probably took my brother's advice. Well, I know I took his advice. I probably shouldn't have, but it's like, well, you just click them in third gear, you go down a hill, kick the separator on, get enough momentum, shove it right out the back. By God, he wasn't lying.
Yeah.
You get it going in third gear, kick the separator on, it'll shove that shit right out the back.
Wow.
Open the concaves all the way up. That's back when you had to hop out and ratchet them open. Shove it right out the back, close them back up, click her back in second. Off you go again. It's either that or you're changing the rotor belt.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you're going to find out pretty quick.
You're going to find out one way or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have any trouble, though. Shoved it right out. Off I went.
I couldn't imagine today just getting back in, just for an example, a 6,600 deer or whatever, just with not having the feeder house reverser. I mean, which now that we've went to a draper, that's alleviated a lot of that. But there was a lot of times around here, you're going around brush and, you'll get some.
Red guy, you didn't get a hydraulic reverser till, a late 23?
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, that electric reverser was better than the crescent wrench in a pipe.
Yeah.
But not by a hell of a lot. I mean, it was air conditioned in there when you had the switch, but it wasn't awesome.
Yeah.
It was just a starter.
Yeah.
A chain. And if you didn't slug it bad, it would get it. But
yeah. And there's even times around here in corn, say you're in one of them fields that you're just finishing up and it's starting to rain or shower or whatever, and you can accidentally grab a wad, and I mean, it comes right out at the minute you hit the reverser, but it's like, God, I couldn't, I probably use a reverser 6-8 times a fall. I mean, just through different scenarios of stupid shit.
If you're doing it with a crescent wrench, you get way more careful.
Yeah, you damn right.
Biggest screwing I ever took farming. It was on my birthday one year. We just started. We're getting all the bends going, this, that, and the other. And we had one more through to make to get enough corn. We're in the stirrators. And for some reason or another, my brother ended up in a combine. I said, be careful. There's a spot there where, I don't know, it was a drowned out spot or a wide spot with a planter or whatever, and there was some weeds. They'd pile up on the tall corn and they'd come in at once. So be careful when you go through there. All right. He slugged it. Decided to shear the rotor belt off, trying to unslug it.
Oh, shit.
Brought it back. He's like, hey, by the way, this combine's slugged and the rotor belt's broke and I got to leave for work early in the morning. So you're going to get that out of there. That'll swell overnight. So I spent the rest of my evening, that's when I lived fairly far away. So I spent the rest of my evening unslugging that and getting all that fixed. And it wasn't the best birthday I've ever had. Then I got home. My sister-in-law lived with me at the time. And the starter was out on her car. So I had to put that on when I got home.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So it was like,
happy birthday to you.
yeah, it was like 2 a.m. time I went to bed, and I was not a happy camper. It was literally like the first day in the field. I'm like, not fun.
And the bad part is on any slugged combine, you literally have to pull it out straw by straw.
Yeah.
It is in there so tight, you're not just grabbing a handful. I mean, it's just
picking it away.
Yep, keep picking until it finally you get a little bit of a handful, and then just it just makes me cringe thinking about it.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah. So, well, I think once again we have made it full circle
from politics to slugging combines.
Yeah, so. I mean, these people do not fully appreciate the variety that they get on this show.
Doubt. We're full circle, Tony. Yeah, we cover it all.
Exactly.
If you have a topic you want us to catch that we're not catching, like, let us know. We'll be happy to cover it.
And we'll gladly take call-ins one of these days.
Yeah, as soon as the 21st century hits here, bam, we'll be on it. Yeah. We'll take calls.
Yeah, I can barely get signal on my phone here right now. I mean, and we're down here in the basement, so I virtually get none.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we can ever get some good signal or satellite internet or something, and I'm not doing HughesNet or none of that. I'm actually signed up for Starlink, but they just keep pushing it further and further down the road. So I may never see it. But yeah, exactly.
COVID.
Yeah. Maybe someday we'll take call-ins, but
until then, you'll have to deal with what we want to talk about.
That's right. Yep. So, well, like I say, bear with us. We'll keep trying to hammer these out as best we can. Harvest is going to be right around the corner. I'm not going to make any guarantees on when the next podcast will come out.
Yeah. We'll do what we can.
Yeah, we'll do what we can. But other than that, I will tell you this winter, we'll get back on them, though. We'll be back full swing again.
Yeah,
so
back on.
Yeah. So, all right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We will see you next time.